All right, so get this. You sent us this article, and it's about the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And they're dropping this bombshell on Tencent, calling them a Chinese military company.
Right.
We're talking about like the powerhouse.
Huge.
Behind WeChat, League of Legends, the biggest names in tech and gaming.
Yeah.
They even have a stake in Epic Games, the folks behind Fortnite.
I know, it's crazy.
So naturally, we had to deep dive into this.
Yeah.
And figure out what's really going on.
What's fascinating here is how this goes way beyond simple label.
Right.
You know, we're not just talking about tanks and missiles here.
Okay.
The U.S. is pointing to this concept of military-civil fusion.
Okay.
Where the lines between everyday tech and military applications get really blurry.
Okay, hold on, because that's where I start to get a little lost.
Yeah.
Military-civil fusion.
Yeah.
Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It really does.
Can you break that down for us?
Imagine this. You're using WeChat to chat with friends, order food, maybe pay some bills. It's basically essential for life in China, right?
Right.
But what if that data was also being fed into China's military AI systems?
Yeah.
That's the essence of military-civil fusion.
Okay.
It's about leveraging civilian tech for military advantage.
Right.
Blurring the lines between the two.
So it's not just that Tencent might be building weapons
Right.
for the Chinese military.
No.
It's that their everyday products could be used for espionage, maybe even social control.
Exactly.
Suddenly this news feels a lot less abstract.
Yeah.
And a lot more unsettling.
Exactly. And it gets even more complex when you consider
the
U.S. hasn't actually shown concrete proof of Tencent doing anything, specifically military related.
Wait, so they're basically saying,
basically,
trust us, they're shady.
Yeah.
Without showing their cards.
Without showing the receipts.
That seems pretty bold.
It's definitely a controversial move. Now, the U.S. might have legitimate security concerns.
Right.
And there could be classified information they can't reveal.
Right.
But without transparency, it's easy to see why some people are skeptical.
And Tencent is definitely pushing back hard.
Oh, yeah.
They've issued statements calling the designation a clear mistake.
Right.
Saying they're not a military company or supplier.
Yeah.
They're even hinting at legal action.
Wow.
It almost sounds like they're saying, bring it on, we've got nothing to hide.
Totally.
That's a strong stance, and it raises the question.
Yeah, what's going on?
Is this all about genuine security concerns, or is there something else at play here? Could this be part of a larger strategic move by the U.S.?
It seems like it, right?
You're thinking about the whole U.S.-China rivalry thing, right?
Yeah.
It feels like every other week, there's a new headline.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
About trade wars or tech battles between these two superpowers.
Exactly. Remember what happened with Huawei? The U.S. took similar actions, raising concerns about their ties to the Chinese government.
Right.
And ultimately restricting their access to American technology.
Right.
It's hard not to see this Tencent situation in that same light.
So if we're looking at this as a chess game, what's the U.S.'s end game here?
That's a good question.
Are they just trying to keep China's tech ambitions in check, or is there something more?
That's the million-dollar question. And to understand what's at stake, we need to zoom out even further and look at the global implications of this move. Because this isn't just about Tencent or even China. It's about the future of technology itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this high-stakes game of geopolitical chess going on.
Yeah.
And Tencent is right in the middle of it.
Right in the thick of it.
But let's bring it down to earth for a minute.
Yeah, let's.
What does this actually mean for Tencent?
Yeah, it's...
What are the real-world consequences of being labeled a Chinese military company? Even if the U.S. hasn't shown all their cards.
Well, the immediate impact might be more about uncertainty than outright punishment. Being on this list doesn't automatically trigger sanctions or cut them off from American markets completely.
So we're not going to see WeChat disappear from app stores overnight?
Probably not immediately, no.
No more Fortnite updates for Tencent's gaming arm?
I don't think so, at least not right away. But it does throw up some major roadblocks. Imagine you're Tencent. And now you're trying to work with U.S. companies. Maybe strike a new partnership or secure funding. This designation is going to make a lot of people hesitate.
It's like a giant warning sign hanging over them.
Totally.
Even if the details are fuzzy. Investors get spooked.
For sure.
Potential partners start asking tough questions.
Exactly. And think about the long game. Tencent has ambitions to be a global leader in fields like AI and cloud computing. But how can they compete on a global stage?
Yeah.
If they're seen as a risky bet due to this U.S. designation.
It's almost like they're being pushed into a corner.
Yeah.
Forced to focus more on the Chinese market and less on global expansion.
That's one possible outcome.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why Tencent is fighting back so hard.
Yeah.
They know that even if this doesn't lead to immediate legal action,
right,
the reputational damage could be massive. And that could have a ripple effect throughout the entire tech world.
Let's talk about those ripples.
Okay.
Tencent has fingers in a lot of pies.
So many.
Not just in China, but globally. We mentioned their gaming investments, Riot Games, Epic Games, Ubisoft.
Huge.
These are huge names.
I know.
What happens to those partnerships if the pressure keeps mounting?
That's a critical question.
Yeah.
The U.S. government could start pressuring these companies to distance themselves from Tencent. We could see restrictions on collaborations, maybe even limitations on data sharing or technology transfers.
And suddenly we're not just talking about abstract geopolitics anymore. We're talking about gamers.
Real people.
Who might lose access to their favorite games.
Right.
Developers who are caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
And a whole ecosystem of businesses that are interconnected.
Exactly. It's a complex web of relationships.
Yeah.
And this move by the U.S. has the potential to disrupt it in a major way.
So what's Tencent's next move? They've said they want to appeal this decision. Try to prove they're not a military company.
Yeah.
But can they really win this fight?
It's going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah.
They're going to need to present a very compelling case, maybe even reveal some internal information to demonstrate transparency and dispel the U.S.'s concerns.
But what if the U.S. is digging in their heels, determined to make an example out of Tencent?
It's possible.
Could this end up in court?
It's definitely possible. Tencent has deep pockets and a strong legal team.
Right.
So they could choose to challenge the designation in court.
Yeah.
But that would be a risky move.
Right.
A very public showdown with the U.S. government.
A legal battle between a Chinese tech giant and the U.S. government.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a clash of titans.
It would be a landmark case, no doubt.
Right.
And the outcome could set a precedent for how these kinds of disputes are handled in the future.
We're talking about more than just Tencent's fate here.
So much more.
This could have huge implications for other Chinese companies.
Yeah.
Operating globally, even for the future of globalization itself.
You're hitting on a crucial point.
Yeah.
This isn't just a tech story or a business story.
Right.
It's a story about the shifting balance of power in the world.
Wow.
We're seeing these fault lines emerge in so many areas.
It feels like
trade technology, even cultural influence.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
The old rules of globalization are being rewritten, and it's not clear what the new rules will be.
And that's why it's so important to pay attention to this Tencent story.
Okay.
It's a microcosm of much larger forces that are reshaping the world we live in.
So we've been unpacking this whole situation with Tencent.
Yeah.
And it's clear this goes way beyond just one company.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a tangled web of geopolitics, tech innovation, global power dynamics.
Right.
So let's zoom out for a minute.
Okay.
And think about what this all means for you, the listener.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways you should keep in mind as this story unfolds?
Well, I think the first thing to remember is that this is just one battle in a much larger war.
Okay.
The U.S. and China are locked in this intense rivalry for tech dominance.
Right.
And it's playing out on multiple fronts. We're talking about everything from artificial intelligence, 5G networks, to the future of the internet itself.
It feels like the world is splitting.
It does.
Into these two tech spheres.
Yeah.
And the stakes are incredibly high.
Exactly. And this Tencent situation is a prime example of how these tensions are spilling over into the business world.
Right.
Affecting real companies and real people.
It's a wake-up call.
Absolutely.
That the old rules of globalization are changing. And we're all going to have to adapt.
Yeah.
So in this new world order, what can we as individuals actually do?
That's the question, right?
It can feel pretty overwhelming to be caught in the crossfire of these global forces.
One of the most important things you can do is to stay informed.
Okay.
And be critical of the information you consume.
Right.
Don't just take headlines at face value.
Yeah.
Dig deeper. Explore different perspectives.
Right.
And think for yourself.
It's like that saying, don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, in this age of information overload, media literacy is more important than ever.
Absolutely. And don't shy away from those tough conversations. Talk to your friends, family, colleagues. Right. Even if you disagree, sharing perspectives and challenging assumptions can help us all make sense of this complex landscape.
It's easy to get caught up in the fear and uncertainty.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, engaging in thoughtful dialogue is the best way to move forward.
Absolutely. And remember, this story is far from over.
Right.
This is just one chapter.
Yeah.
There will be twists and turns, new developments, and unexpected consequences.
Right.
Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep asking questions.
That's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive.
You got it.
We want to equip you with the knowledge and insights to navigate this ever-changing world.
We don't have all the answers, but we're committed to exploring these complex issues together because the more we understand, the better prepared we'll be to shape the future.
So as always, we encourage you to keep digging deeper. Keep challenging assumptions.
For sure.
And keep diving deep.
Until next time.
Until next time, stay curious.